So I deal with a lot of hunger fluctuations microdosing a GLP-1, and it took a lot of effort for me to figure out what the right dose was for me and how often to take it, while trying to keep my dose as low as possible to prevent nausea. So in this video, I'm going to share how I found my current dose and frequency, as well as what I do to keep my dose low to avoid side effects. And hopefully by knowing what I do, you can have an easier time figuring out the right dose and frequency for you so you can continue to lose weight. By the way, I'm Nico, a nutrition coach, and I lost 17 pounds so far microdosing tirzepatide. So hunger naturally gets stronger as we lose weight, and anybody who's dieted has probably experienced this. This is super normal, by the way, and that's why a lot of people find it hard to lose weight, myself included. Now, GLP-1s do help with this. So as we lose more weight, we might have to increase our dose to manage our hunger that's getting stronger. For fluctuations, the meds wear off throughout the week. They don't last long in our system. There's still some there, but the amount that helps manage hunger goes away. Now, hunger can fluctuate throughout the day or throughout the week. For example, the day after I take my shot, daily fluctuations are not a problem, but at the end of the week, the fluctuations are more frequent and harder to deal with. I don't mind the fluctuations, I just want it to be manageable and somewhat predictable, meaning I generally have an idea of when I get hungry. Now, feeling hunger is not a bad thing. It's a signal for us to eat so we don't lose weight too fast and deal with a bunch of negative side effects related to losing weight too fast or rapid weight loss. It only becomes an issue when we can't manage it. So how do I manage hunger and fluctuations? I have two ways, hunger management methods and dose management, meaning frequency or a higher dose. I'll cover hunger management methods first because this is what keeps my dose as low as possible for me and not having to increase it so often. So the reason why I always do these first is because I want to avoid increasing my dose as much as possible just to avoid getting more side effects. And before I go over my methods, I don't do all of them at the same time, just however many I need to manage hunger. Okay, first is more high volume foods and less calorie rich foods. High volume foods help me stay full for longer, and they're foods that are high in fiber, low in calories, and have high water content. These are usually foods like fruits and vegetables. Calorie rich foods usually digest faster, meaning I'll be hungrier more often, so I try to avoid them and eat less of them. And then calorie rich foods would be things like potato chips, junk food, cookies like in this picture, brownies, ice cream, usually what people consider junk or fast food. Okay, next is no carbs by itself. Carbs tend to digest faster when they're eaten by itself compared to the other macronutrients, which are protein and fats. So what I like to do is I like to have my carbs with other foods. For example, I like to have crackers for a snack, and instead of having it by itself like I usually do, when I'm hungry, I will pair it with a protein drink. In this case, it's a yogurt protein drink, which has protein and a little bit of fat. Next is I eat slowly and chew my food. I am a pretty fast eater, and sometimes when I eat too fast, the food in my stomach doesn't register to my brain that I'm eating, so then I can eat more. I notice if I eat more slowly, I, for one, get tired of eating. Like the act of eating itself gets boring, and then I tend to get full quicker too. Okay, next is more solid foods and less liquid calories. Liquid calories digest faster than solid foods. This means I'll be hungry again sooner. For me, the liquid calories I typically have on a normal day would be protein drinks, Fairlife, like in this picture. If my appetite is normal, I'll have like 2 protein drinks per day, but if my appetite is high, I'll maybe reduce it to 1 and have an extra serving of solid protein foods during one of my meals, so like chicken or steak. Next is more water and calorie-free drinks. Liquids tend to fill up my stomach pretty well, and since they're calorie-free, I can still be in a calorie deficit. I also think the carbonation helps fill up my stomach, and from my experience, the diet and zero sodas tend to work better than the sparkling water. I think that's just a me thing. And I don't have a picture of my diet soda for whatever reason. This is just a picture of regular Sprite, but I drink a lot of Sprite Zero and Coke Zero caffeine free. Okay, next is only eating when hungry. This is the one I personally like the most and the one I use pretty often. I don't have set eating schedules anymore like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Instead, I just eat when I'm hungry. And the last one is bland foods. This gets me full really fast because I really don't like bland foods. Most of the time, I just don't want to eat and I just want to throw up even when I'm really hungry. To give an example, this is just a picture of chicken and rice. This is what I have when I'm really hungry. But on days that my appetite is low, I just add soy sauce and hot sauce. Okay, this is the last thing I do to manage hunger. Now, if I did a bunch of these hunger management methods and I'm still hungry after like 2 weeks, then I consider increasing my dose, and we'll talk about that now. Okay, quick disclaimer, this isn't medical advice. I'm just sharing what I do. If anything I'm saying resonates with you, you can take that information and speak to your doctor or healthcare provider on how you can adjust your dose. Okay, so higher dose. To me, it just means increasing the amount of the GLP-1 you take. I started at 0.25 milligrams, then I eventually went up to 0.5 milligrams, and then I'm currently at 0.75 milligrams. So I only increased it twice. Now, every time I increased my dose, my nausea got slightly worse, but the overall appetite suppression was much better. It helped with daily hunger fluctuations, but it didn't help me personally with weekly fluctuations. And this leads to higher frequency. I define it as taking your dose more often. I originally thought I increased my frequency 4 times, but I checked and it was just 3, or more so 2 really, but I'll explain. I started at 0.25 milligrams every 7 days for a month, then 0.25 milligrams every 5 days, and stuck with it for a while. I skipped every 6 days because I just thought 5 was better. I recently tried every 4 days, but my side effects got really bad, mostly the nausea and bloat. So I went back to 5. And increasing frequency is technically increasing dose since there's more in your system according to the app I use. So that's probably why I got more side effects. So you can see my last dose was 0.75 milligrams, but my estimated levels in my body is 1.22. So if I go above that, my chances of side effects go up. And I'm pretty good at this current dose. And having a higher frequency is actually what helped me deal with the weekly fluctuations, at least for me. Okay, so higher dose versus frequency. Again, I only made one meaningful increase in frequency. The other time I did, it was going from 4 days or 5 days a week to 4 days. And that was just me pushing my limits. But luckily for me, taking my shot every 5 days worked out great. Some people take it more frequently, but again, everyone is different. Now, it's important for me to stress that there's a lot of trial and error and balancing when it comes to your dose that only you and your doctor or healthcare provider can figure out. My exact dose and frequency probably won't work for you, and you shouldn't copy me anyways. You just got to figure out your own dose and frequency. You got to balance side effects and costs as well as hunger. They're almost on opposite sides of the spectrum. And I try to be like right in the middle. So the way I see it is that the more I can manage hunger without increasing my dose, the more effort it takes, but I prevent getting more side effects from a higher dose. The more I increase my dose, the easier it is to manage hunger, but at the cost of getting more side effects and spending more money. And to end it off, remember, I always try to do the hunger management methods first before even touching my dose. Anyways, I hope this video helped. Thanks for watching. Bye.